Hello everyone, this is Mary with the onboarding team here at ServiceMonster. Today I'm going to be walking you through the admin view of the ServiceMonster mobile app. If you don't already have the ServiceMonster mobile app, you can simply go to servicemonster.net and there you'll be able to find a link to download the mobile app from, or you can search for ServiceMonster in your mobile app's app store, and the app with the blue SM logo is the correct one and it should be named ServiceMonster. So when we open up the app, you should have the option to either register or log in. If you've already created and set up your ServiceMonster account and subscription, you'll want to click login. That will lead you to this page where you can enter in your company ID, your username, and your password, and then you can simply click login. So here we have our home screen. Again, we are looking at the admin view of the app. Depending on your user security level in ServiceMonster, the app is going to look slightly different. We also include a technician view walkthrough at the end of this training, so you can continue watching once we go through all the admin details so you can see more information about that. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of all the details, let's say you're hopping onto the mobile app to get some work done. One of the key things to note down here at the bottom is you can switch between your home screen, which we can see here, as well as your schedule, which we can see by clicking on the schedule button. To view things on the schedule, you have a couple of different options. You can change what date you're looking at by clicking on the date in the upper left-hand corner and using the calendar here to switch to a different day. You can also switch what view you're using, so if you want it to be the day, week, month, or agenda view. And you'll be able to select what routes you're looking at. As you see here, I don't have any selected yet. So when I click select a route, I'll be able to select what routes I'm looking at. And for the day view, I can look at multiple routes at a time or different route tags. And then when I click check here, that will show me those routes. So now I can see all of my routes and their appointments for the day. So that's how our day view looks. We can also switch over to the week view and I can see all of my appointments for my different routes for the week. So let's say move to Mary's crew. Here I can see their appointments. I have the month view, which shows me a calendar and then any appointments for the day I've selected as cards on the bottom here. So I can see those here, and those are also divided up by route. And lastly, we have the agenda view, which simply shows the appointment cards for that day. If I want to view any appointments, all I have to do is either click on the appointment card itself there, or if I'm looking at, say, my day view, clicking on any of these appointment cards on the schedule. That will open up the appointments details from here. There's a lot that we can do right from here when it comes to managing our appointments and orders and getting in contact with our clients. The first thing I want to note is our check-in button. So when you or your team member gets to your appointment, you can click on check-in. That will track the time you got to the appointment and how long you've been there. So that's great for handling any scheduling, seeing how long it takes for you to handle different jobs. Right up here at the top, we can also see just some general details about the appointment. We can view the account it's associated with by clicking on the account name. So here we can view their account notes and their contact information. We can also view their address information and details about the site by clicking on the site address. Any site notes will be visible here, as well as any service items you may have created for that site. And down here, we have kind of a menu of different tasks that you can do. And we'll be covering that in just a second. Scrolling down a little bit more. Here we have our contact information for this client. So we can also give them a call and send them a text. The call will be just through your own cell phone, and the text can be sent either through your own phone or through ServiceMonster. So when I click text here, it will open up a little window. And something really quick to note with texting is we have a number of different text templates that are already set up in your system. If you select one, you might notice that you have these merge fields, or these words surrounded by brackets. As long as the text message is sent through ServiceMonster, so as long as this box is checked, these are going to autofill with your client's information. If you uncheck this, what will happen when you go to click the send button is the system is going to copy this message and paste it into your phone's texting system for you, and these details aren't going to autofill. So you will need to go in and fill in these details yourself if you do want to send these messages through your phone's texting system and not through ServiceMonster. Remember, ServiceMonster's texting system is a one-way messaging system, so if your client responds, you will not be able to see that, which is why we always recommend adding in a call, company phone with questions so they know how to contact you if they do have any questions. So again, to send this text, all I would have to do is click on that little paper plane icon and it would send it off. Down here, I also have an option to email my client, and I can see my technician note, admin note, and account note for this client. So the technician note and admin note, these are specifically associated with this appointment. They are not client-facing notes, and it's a great place to store information that you or your team needs to know to get the job done, such as gate code is XYZ, key is under the rug. You can click on the pencil icon here and just type in any notes as needed. Technician notes are visible to anybody in the system who is technician level or above, and admin notes are available to anyone in the system who is administrative security role level. Then as I scroll down right down here at the bottom, I can see my work order. So clicking on this opens up my order. Here I can adjust my order note, which is a note that will appear on the customer's invoice. So this note is client facing. And as I scroll down, I can view my line items and edit them as needed. So either I can click on them to open them up, adjust the quantity and pricing, if it's taxed, if it's an upsell, all of that. Or I can add in new line items by clicking plus add line item. And here I can search through all of my products, services, and packages and select whatever it is that I would like to add. Simply click on it and then click on the check mark here to add that in. Here I can also add to and adjust my service items. Service items are kind of a way of tracking where it is that you're doing the work that you're doing. So these can represent rooms, such as my living room, room 1, and bedroom 1 that I have here. They can also represent specific things that you're working on. Say you're doing a rug cleaning, you can make one for a specific rug, a counter that you're working on, anything like that. So they're basically a great way of just keeping track of the work that you're doing. And these can also keep track of how much space that is. So when I go to create a service item, I can give it a name. So we'll say that this is bedroom 2. I can type in the dimensions for that space. So say it is 12 by 10. I can even subtract out an area. So say I need to work around a weird wall or, something in the middle of things. I can subtract that out. And my quantity of the square footage of that space is automatically going to be calculated for me. Now, of course, that's really handy if you like to do any of your payments by the square foot. And here you can also upload pictures or take pictures from your device. So if you like to take before and after photos, those can be stored and attached directly with the specific space that they are. And when I click the check in the upper right-hand corner here, my service item is created. And I can even connect this with my line item. So hopping back over to my line items, I can select the service that it's associated with. I can click Apply Service Items. And I can select any service item that is attached to it. So say all of these are carpet cleaning that I'm doing. Where it says keep description here, I can choose if I want the description to change or if I want my quantity to change. And I'm going to select replace my quantity so that my quantity is going to change to the total square footage for the spaces that I'm working in. And when I click on my check right there, it's going to do that. So my quantity is updated and thus my amount due has updated. And I can click on my check right again to save that. So it'll say line item saved. So hopping back to our appointment, we've made those changes to our work order. And now to go over the details right up here at the top. So these are a number of different tasks that you can do associated with this appointment. So you can send our client an email, you can take or upload pictures, you can get a signature on this order, you can record a payment on this order, go through the completion wizard process, and view your time logs for this order. So there you can see anyone who has checked in or checked out of appointments and when that was. So let's go through the completion wizard process. Say we're all done with this order and we're ready to go through the final steps to finish it out. We can do that by clicking complete right here. So our first step is our invoice overview. This is basically checking over everything on the invoice to make sure that it is correct. If everything is correct, what I recommend doing is backing out and clicking Convert Order to Invoice. So it is now changing from being a work order to an invoice. Next, we can capture images. So if you took any pictures, you can either take another photo or upload any of those photos from your device right here. You can upload in those photos. Next, we have check out of this appointment. If you're all done with your work, you can click on that and it will check you out of it. As we go through all of the steps of this process, you can see our bar up here is increasing with each step. Our next one is to collect a signature. So here we can collect a signature on our order form. We can click sign. We can add our signature and click done. And we can move it around to adjust it so it's on the signature line and click place. And that is added in. Then when I click upload, that is added with this order. So we now have a PDF copy of the signed version of the order saved. Something to note, if you didn't click on the Convert Order to Invoice before you collected a signature, the signature might be on the work order version of the order instead of the invoice version of the order. If your clients are really particular about that and that their signature needs to be on the invoice itself, that's something to be aware of. You might want to make sure that you're clicking the Convert Order to Invoice before you're collecting a signature on it. Next, we can go into Apply Payment. And this is where you can record your payment. Now, if you have a payment system set up that integrates with ServiceMonster, such as Stripe or Authorize.net, you will be able to run a credit card payment right through the mobile app. You'll have another button option here that you can click on to do that. But in this case, we can just collect our payment however we usually would. And I can click Record a Payment here. I can select my payment method, how much we're paying, a reference number, a note, and the payment date. And then when I click on the check button in the upper right hand corner, that is going to save. So this payment is recorded in the system. Then we can go to send an email. This will be sending an email to the client with a copy of the invoice as a PDF attached. We can use our templates for this. So if you already have gone in and customized your thank you invoice paid or unpaid templates so that they match the branding of your company, you'll be able to select those. And when you go into Edit Attachments, here you can choose to add any specific files or photos to this email. Something to note as well, you can choose to add the signed copy of your order. That's going to be added as a separate document. At the start, it'll say what type of order it is. So if it's an invoice, a work order, or an estimate, and it will include the word signature for you to know that, hey, this is the version that they have signed. So if you only want to include the signed version, make sure that you're switching to that one. And we'll click on the check mark to confirm that. And then to send this, we can click on the check mark again, and that will send out. Then our last step is going to be mark the order as complete. And when we have done that, we have reached 100%. Now, you don't need to go through every step of this process. You are always welcome to finish out these orders on the desktop version, or you can skip over some steps. The main thing the system needs to know that you finished the order is checking out and finishing all of your appointments. So clicking the mark appointment as complete, as well as recording a payment on this order. So once the order is an invoice, has a payment on it, and all of the appointments are marked as complete, it will be considered as finished in the system. And again, you can do that from either the mobile app or the desktop version of ServiceMonster. So that's everything that you can do right from the appointment. Now, say you're ready to make a brand new appointment right from the schedule. How can you do that? It's a super simple process. Either all you have to do is click on the schedule where you want to put in that appointment. It will open up the quick add. And here you can go through and either find or create a brand new account. So this is basically the mobile version of the quick add. So as I'm typing in my client's information, it's going to show me any possible account matches up here at the top. So I can either select one of these, or I can go through and add in all of my client's information to make a brand new account. And right up here with the residential and commercial slider, I can choose if they're going to be a residential or commercial account. So I'm just going to go ahead and select one of these accounts here. I'll be able to pick what site I'm working at for them, and I can also add a new site by clicking on this plus button, but I'll just select their already made site. You can choose how long the appointment will be, what type of order this should be, so if it's an estimate, work order, or invoice, what route it's going to be on, and what our lead source is for this order, so why your client's coming to you or why they're coming back to you. For this, you'll pick if it's a campaign, which you can think of as your marketing within or outside of ServiceMonster, or you can pick an account, which will show you a list of all of your accounts in the system. So say someone's neighbor or friend is recommending that they work with you. So in this case, we'll go ahead and pick a campaign, and we'll say someone found our Google reviews. So I'll just type in Google. I can see Google reviews here and click on that to select it. Then down here at the bottom, you'll also notice you have the technician notes box. So if you have any notes that your team needs to know in order to do this appointment, you can add them in there. And you can also set up appointment reminders. If you've already created appointment reminders in the system, you'll be able to select if this account should receive appointment reminders for this appointment from here. Then when I click on the check in the upper right-hand corner, that appointment is created. If we were creating a new account as well, that would create a new account for me. And I can see my appointment right here and click on it. And when I scroll down, I can see my order and open that up. And here I can add in my line items for this order as well. So that's one way. Another way is to simply click on this green plus button right here. And here it will give you the option to either create a new appointment or create a new activity. So really similarly, if I create a new appointment, it'll have me go through, select the date and time, again, either add in the client's information or find the account for the client and the other details we just covered. If I want to create a new activity, I can also do that from here. I can select an account that it's associated with, a due date, give it a subject line and any notes, as well as choose its status, priority, the type, if it's a note, call, task, or mail. I can assign it to a specific employees and choose if I want to show it on the schedule and when it should appear. So remember, activities are kind of like non-billable tasks. They could be giving a client a call. They could be asking a technician to go pick up a piece of equipment that was left behind, anything that you may need your team to see or handle. So that's everything from the schedule side of things on the app. Now let's hop back over to the home screen. This is what you see right when you hop into the app. At the top here, it'll say good morning to whoever's logged in. So in this case, it says good morning, Mary, and it will show you the day that you're looking at. With the I button right here, if you click on that, that will open up our kind of help station. So here you can get a link to our help site as well as our phone numbers. Feel free to give our support team a call anytime between 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday. We are very happy to help you out, especially if you have any bumps in the road with using the mobile app. And then here we have our search bar. So here you can simply type in name or order number, kind of anything that you're looking for. If you need to make an order for someone on the fly, you can look them up in the system, find the account that you're looking for, and from their account page, you can do things such as create a new order, create a new appointment, see their activities, see their sites, contact information, custom fields, all of that. Down here, we have a dashboard. So here we can see our monthly income with our average invoice and our number of invoices. We can also see how much we've made so far for that month and what our goal is for the month. The goal is based off of your previous averages, I think plus 5%. We then also have our sales pipeline, so you can see what step most of your orders are in. Good thing to keep an eye on if you're like me and you have a ton of invoices that aren't finished yet in the system. They don't have payments recorded on them yet. It's a good thing to keep an eye on, that you should go through and be recording the payments or collecting the payments for those invoices. So this is kind of like a handy way to see what stage a lot of your orders are in. And then we can also view our sales by month, so you can kind of see where your peaks are and where you are in comparison to that right now. And scrolling down, there are a number of different tasks we can handle right from here in the system. So the first one is creating a new account. So you can make a new account by clicking on the new account button right here. And all we have to do is type in their information. So say we're working with Ted Jones. We can choose if they're a residential or commercial account. Remember, residential accounts do require a first and last name, whereas commercial accounts do require a company name, and it'll give you a little warning of that. We can add in their phone number. And this phone number can either be categorized as a mobile, home, or work number. And you can also mark if this is a phone number you can send text messages to. If it is, you can click on that little text box so it will be highlighted blue, and that will let the system know, hey, we can send them texts. If you have this turned off, you will not have the ability to send text messages to this phone number. So it's something to be aware of. If you want to send them texts, make sure to turn that on. Then you can add in their email address. And here we can add in their account note. Remember, account notes are not client-facing. Clients won't be able to see them. And it's kind of a handy spot to add in any details about the client that you want to see right away when you look up their account in the system. So maybe, hey, this person is hard of hearing. Make sure you speak clearly when you're on the phone with them. Or, hey, this person's a total jerk. We do not want to work with them again. Anything that you want to see right away when you look them up. Next, we can add in their default site. You can also kind of think of this as being their billing address if they're an account that's going to have multiple sites, or just their kind of like main home address. So we can click Add Default Site to add that in. All you have to do is start typing in their address, and it is going to show you nearby locations. And you can click on one of them to select it. Down here, you can also add in a note for that site, as well as a specific contact person for that site. So if, say, this account has multiple sites that have different contact persons for them, you can add in their contact information here. And down at the bottom, you can choose your accounting information, so your tax information, what tax rate should be applied if you're doing any work at this specific site, or if they are tax exempt. Then I can click on my check mark up here, and that site is created for me. And then I can go through more of my account information. So I can pick my account type. Our two most common are prospect or customer accounts. You can think of customer accounts as someone that you've done work with before, or you are sure that you're going to be doing work with. Whereas prospect accounts, maybe you're not positive if you're going to be working with them. You're setting up an estimate for them, basically. And the nice thing about prospect accounts is as soon as an invoice is made on that account, it will automatically turn into a customer account. And we can select their lead source, so why they're coming to your company. We'll go ahead and choose an account list time so we can search through our account list and select the client that is recommending that this new person should work with you. And down here, we also have an accounting option. So here you can choose the payment terms as well as the tax rate for this account in general. When I click on the check in the upper right-hand corner, that account is created. So I can see account created, and I can tap on there to view it. And again, from the account itself right here, we can make a new order with this account, send them an email, create an appointment, go through their activities, view their sites. There's a lot of things we can do right from here for this specific account. Next on our list down here, we have our leads. This is where you can view any of your leads that are in the system, create any activities or view any of your activities with them, as well as you can create a new estimate or work order associated with that lead. So if you use the lead system, you will be able to keep track of your leads, accept and decline them right here from the mobile app. Next, we have the new order button. Clicking on this allows you to make a new order. So to create a new order, our first step is going to be to find an account. And here you can actually either make a brand new account or you can find a previous account you've already set up in the system. So all, again, you have to do is start typing in client's information, select the account, and select the site. Again, you can make a brand new account and site right from there as well. And here you'll have the option to either copy an existing order or create a new order from scratch. So if clients ask you, hey, come out and do the exact same thing you did for me last time, you can simply copy that existing order, find the one that you're looking for, and it is selected and made for you. That simple. Otherwise, you can create a new order from scratch by adding in the order note, selecting what type of order it should be, estimate, work order, or invoice, and then adding in your line items. I'm just going to select a package for this one. Then when I click on the check mark, that is created. So my order is created. I can see that right here, and I can tap on this to view that order. Super simple. In the recent activity, this is where we'll be able to see our recent activity. So up along the top, we can see the accounts that we were working with recently and click on any of them to hop back into that account. And then as I scroll through, I'll be able to see all of the different orders, appointments, and everything that I've been working on in the system, my payments, my emails. This is a great way to keep track of what you've been doing, who you've been contacting, and if you ever need to, say, hop back into that order that you just created, you can use the recent activity to simply find it, click on it, and work on adding in that note or whatever it was that you might have forgotten. Next to recent activity, we have My Activities. This is where you can view your activities in the system. So here you can view them by who they are assigned to, or by a number of different filters, such as when they are due, what type of appointment they are, or if they're missing a due date as well. And here you can also search, so you can search for a specific client or specific activity name. Then as I scroll through, I can view all of my pending activities in the pending tab and all of my completed activities in the complete tab. I can also make new activities right from here by clicking on the green plus button, and that will let me go through the process of creating an activity. So remember, activities are your non-billable tasks in the system, so these can be calls, notes, just little reminders for you and your team of what you need to do. Lastly, here we have our settings. So this is where you can go and customize some details about your ServiceMonster account. So the first thing we have up here includes what version of the app that you're using, what account that you're logged into, and the option to log out. This is really handy if you do ever give our support team a call. They might ask you what version of the app that you're using, so this is where you can find that. Next, we have our company info. This is where you can customize your company information. A lot of this is information that will appear on your order forms itself. It is slightly more limited than the desktop version, though, just so you know. We have our products and services list. So here you can view, edit, and add to your products and services list. You can edit any of these simply by clicking on them and going in and customizing that. Or you can make a new one by clicking on the plus button and adding in its details here. In the Picklist menu, this is where you can customize your pick lists. Pick lists are any of the drop-down menus within ServiceMonster that on the desktop version have that little blue plus button next to them where you can add in your own options. So different examples are appointment types, account types and subtypes, route groups. You can also adjust your custom fields if they're pick lists from here. And these just allow you to say, I can go into my payment methods and add in new options. So say I want to add PayPal as a payment option. I can simply type that in, click pause, click on the plus button, and that will be added as an option for my payment methods now on the drop-down list for that. Then I also have tax rates. This is where you can add in your tax rates or edit them as needed. You can also do that, of course, from the desktop version. We have our SMS templates. This is where you can view your text templates that are already made in the system. You can open them up, go in and customize them as needed, or you can also make a brand new one by clicking on the green plus button as well. You can import your contacts from your phone into the system by clicking Import Contacts, and you can set up your Google Calendar integration or QuickBooks Online integration from here as well. In the custom account fields, this is where you can customize your custom fields. I cover these more in depth in the marketing training, so I highly recommend checking that out if you want to learn more about what these are and what you can do with them. And lastly, we have our Contact Us information, which is the exact same as clicking on that little I button on the home screen. We have our help site, we have our phone number. Please feel free to give us a call if you ever need extra help or support with using the mobile app, or if you're ever finding things aren't working the way that you think that they should be. We'd love to help you out with that. And so that covers using the ServiceMonster mobile app. Thank you all so much for joining me. If you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat or reach out to our support team. I highly recommend getting the app and kind of getting familiar with it yourself. From here, we're going to go ahead and transition over to viewing the technician view of the ServiceMonster mobile app. So if you ever have other team members that are going to be using the app but might have a more restricted security level, such as technician, this is a way for you to see what that is going to look like for them. Thank you all so much for joining me for the admin view. I hope that this has been helpful, and I'll see you all next time. All right, let's check out that technician view.